Hello there folks, today we're taking a look at the game called 1911 Amundsen vs. Scott. It's published by Looping Games and the designer is Perepau Llistosella.
It's year 1911. Amundsen and Scott are racing to be the first ones to reach South Pole.
Ooh, it's getting cold and windy here. 1911 is a fairly simple game. You represent either Amundsen or Scott. It's a two-player game, so you present either of them. And you want to reach the South Pole right here, then you'll automatically win the game. Each one of you has his own path. It's basically the same, it's just the different colors on each path here. Now, the gameplay is fairly simple. On your turn, you can do one of the two actions. You can either play cards from your hands or take new cards. And now how it goes. Like, let's say at the beginning of the game, each one of us has one card in his hand. As you can see, I have this Mongolian horse, yeah? The thing about the Mongolian horse, and there's the other cards, the Greenland dog, is that they work better for the Greenland dog works better for the Norwegian player, and for Great Britain, the Mongolian horse is better because it's wild. But if it's not your card, let's say I have this card right now, I'm Amundsen, I cannot use it as a wild because it's Scott's ability, but I look at it as a green card. Now let's look at these spaces. One of the first spaces I have, this is red, and then we have yellow, and then we have green. I cannot use my green right now because I need red to advance on this space right here, and I need to go through all the spaces. So probably my other choice would be to just grab the cards. Now, how the grabbing the card goes. You either just take the furthest card from the deck, and that's it. And then the new cards will come up, like that. Or you can discard one card from your hand and take the two cards, like that. Or the third option, you can discard all three cards from your hand and grab the new three cards from here, like that. So, and it's up to you what you're doing and what's that, but there is also, when you're discarding, there are some cards which have these special abilities in them. These are discard special abilities, and when you discard one of the cards with this symbol, you get its special ability. Or you can just discard it as a color, so each card has a color or maybe an ability. For example, this one says that you just take a card from the deck, and if it's your next space color, you advance. Red, no, it's green. Sad, I don't advance. But basically, yeah. How you go through here. Now, on your turn, you can go maximum up to 4 spaces because you have a hand size limit of 7. I'm gonna explain that. Now, to go on your turn, if you wanna go just 1 space, you just pay 1 card, which is the same color, and you advance on that space, like that. If you want to go more spaces on 1 turn, on 1 go, then you have to pay like that. So you have to pay 1 card for the first space, and then for each next space you want to go through, you have to pay 2 cards of the same color. So right now I have a really good hand. I'm gonna pay 1 plus 2 yellow plus 2 green, and I'm gonna advance. And that's basically it. And you want to reach the South Pole. Now, there are some cards which have special abilities. I talked about the discard thing. So I talked about the Greenland dog and the Mongolian horse. There are also cards which are, for example, here. We have the Blizzard and Crevasse. Blizzard works fine for the Norway player, and Great Britain has Crevasse. It means that if you play a card, some cards can be played just a special action. You just play a card, you discard it, and you apply a special action. And this one says that you can get your opponent be lost on a route. This means that your opponent goes to that question mark. For example, he was here, you play a card, he goes here, and then in order to come back into the game on the track, he must pay one of these colors which are behind him in order to get back on track. And then on the next turn he can start moving again. So this is an element of take that. And there are more cards, different cards that we have here. Let's say, what are these? No. We have more. Blah, 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 blah. The sun. Compass, for example. If you play Compass, this is a non-colored card. You can only play it from your hand as a special action card. And if you are somewhere here, you will advance one space with the compass. If you are here, you will go backwards one space if you play this card. And you cannot enter the South Pole with the compass card in your hand. And the other thing, in order to reach the South Pole, you need to pay 4 cards of the different colors each. And here we have another sacrifice, another discard ability and such. So, for example, here, your opponent shows his hand and must discard all the sun cards and either Mongolian horse or the dogs, depending on who he is, and such. So there are quite a few more. Equipment loss. Your maximum hand size limit is down by 2, so it's maximum 5 now. For the rest of the game, you cannot get rid of this card. Also, you can take and steal 1 card from your opponents and such. So these are all the different cards you want to reach the South Pole. Now, there are also expansions, or let's say modules. For example, the Patrons module, which each one of you has 4 cards. They're almost the same. And you randomly draw 1 card at the beginning of the game, each one of you, and then you get the special ability. For example, this works as a wild card. Or, for example, with this one, you start from the next space from the ship. So you 1 space further already. With this card, you start with 4 cards in your hand, or 3 cards in your hand, and so on. The other thing there is the weather. So whenever you reach one of those lines, or go through the lines, you will roll the die and something random happens, which will change. Maybe you discard cards, maybe you gain cards. You can also play with food depots. These are the small tokens, you put them on. At the beginning of the game, you get extra cards. You're gonna put these cards further in the track, so when you reach the space, you're gonna get an extra card into your hand. And also there is another module which is a bigger one, which is a way back. Whenever somebody reaches the South Pole, if your opponent is not that behind, he's like further from that line right here, then you play further and you now have to go back, and there are some rule changes, slight rule changes. You have to pay exact cards with exact color and symbol in it. So, but it wasn't something we're really keen on. So that's 1911, that's how you play it. As for components, this game has cards, small board, few tokens, so basically it's a card game. It's fine quality, nothing really particular. I do like the box quality here. It's real good, linen finish and thick enough. Yeah. So, regarding the gameplay, first of all, this is a 2-player game, which is rather fast. And it's easy to grasp. Although first, when I looked at the rulebook, I read through the rulebook, I was like, it seems to be overcomplicated. And then at some point I realized, when we started playing the game, I realized, oh, it's not so complicated. You know, it's much easier than I thought. So you just need to read the rulebook, start playing, and then you're in. Yeah.
This game has 4 modules in it, at least this edition, like mini expansions, which is good. It's always good to mix and match and add to the game something you like more and leave out something you really don't like. However, we didn't see much value in either of them. So we were much more prone to play just the base game and leave the expansions out.
I like the food depot, but it was rather small.
Yeah,
it's nothing
like,
really big. Yeah. Small thing, but I liked it. Yeah, the weather thing was fine, just more random there. And but there are like, this is the way back module was, well, I created a new thing, negative thing. We're gonna discuss it in a moment. Yeah, but there is a module called Patrons. Was it so? Yeah, those famous people, special people. And you each have the deck. They are almost identical decks, and each one of you draws a card at the beginning of the game, and that's your special power for that game. Now, the thing is that if you would draw the same type of cards, that would be balanced, to be fine. But if some powers, some cards, some special people are just boring, and they are nothing. Like they might help you if you're really, really lucky. And some special powers will help you for sure because they are really good special powers. Like for example, extra cards at the beginning of the game, which is crucial in my opinion to start the game. If you have extra cards, it's just that's a big advantage over the other player. So I think it's not balanced here, and it's a lack of draw.
Yes, there is quite a lot of that. So the game is so short that if one gets ahead of another, it's hard to catch up. So it has, in our opinion, has runaway leader problem. At least it was in every single game we played. And even bigger problem is that this runaway leader situation is most often caused by lack of draw, which is just not cool. So it would be much more fun if it would be determined by your skills of play or something like that. But not luck, not at least not in this situation.
There, each player has his own route and his own like a colored dots. He goes through, and they're different on each side. So which means like, but the card stack is the same. I would rather have my card stack, your card stack, and if we both have sort of like a draw luck or something like that. So there are these special cards, Mongolian horse and husky. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
If that would be, I would have separate deck, you would have separate deck. That would be for me more balanced. That would take away from the runaway leader. I don't know yet. Not sure. I mean.
Yes, and especially if you have a runaway leader, then you most certainly don't want to take this module where you go back, because come on, it's going to be so frustrating because you know that you have like zero chance for that to win. So it's just going to drag.
But I can see where this draw of luck and then so much luck, but whatever. So what I like about this game is this discard versus play a card. At some point you want to grab more cards, want to have more choices, you need exact colors to go through a bigger amount of spaces, a longer amount of spaces, and for that you need to discard cards, either 1 or 3 cards to get more cards. But at some point you have those cards and you're like, I don't want to really discard them, I will need them in the future, and some of them have maybe a special ability, and then you want to keep them, but then you can only get 1 card. And the other part is that some cards have this discard ability as well. So that's an interesting part. That's a good decision thing there going on. Whether you discard a card because you want to get the discard power, or you want to get the cards from the center, or you will not discard because you crucially need the cards and you want to play them.
And like if you want to have more cards, then you have to discard something. You have to sacrifice something, which is definitely neat here.
Yeah, I really like that. So the other thing that this game has is it take that, and it's in there. It's really in there, and that's where it can also create a runaway leader problem, I think. Yeah, where I'm gonna bash you, and then you're basically done sometimes because you cannot get the good cards there, and you're already back, and you need to get back on the route and such. So it's a good amount of take that in this game, so be sure about that. And some cards like Sacrifice Power, which is really, it's a card, you put it at your opponent. Usually your hand size limit is 7 cards. And this card makes your opponent's hands limit to 5 cards.
Until the end of the game.
So and you cannot get rid of the card.
Definitely overpowered.
Which is weird. Why you cannot get rid of that card? You should. And there are some other cards. So
although take that part in this game, I rather enjoy than not.
Yeah, it's fine, but you need to be sure, for you to be sure that if you don't like take that, it's definitely here, and it's quite a lot. So, overall, when I played the game for the first time, I liked it. It was a neat experience, and I saw that it's fast, it's easy to grasp. I like the idea of discard versus play a card. But as we played more, I saw more problems with the game, like the runaway leader problem, the draw luck, and the modules. Although you can just skip the modules, but if they're already in the box, you want to try them, and they just don't work that well for me, at least. So I would love to recommend the game, but I don't think don't think I like the game that much to recommend it.
So I definitely don't say the game is bad. Most certainly not. It's a decent game, but we just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
and we saw, unfortunately, quite a few problems in the game. But that might be just us. So yeah, I think it might be a matter of taste. So the game is not bad, but it's not good. It's decent.
It's, yeah, take it or leave it.
Yeah, take it or leave it.
All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you another time. Bye bye.